Hello everyone, it is Arika Misha. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. And if you are not aware, the month of October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And of course, if you guys have been with me here on my platform for a while, you guys know April of 2023, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I am a cancer survivor. I am cancer free. All glory goes to God. So yes, in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, October, I have my blanket here. And of course, I shared it with you guys through my cancer journey. I just wanted to bring it back out, this blanket has been with me since the beginning of my cancer journey. I am cancer free now, yes, but I still have some medical issues that I am dealing with, due to my body fighting cancer. But yes, October Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I brought my blanket back out for you guys. I love it. It is beautiful. And yes, I thank God. I thank God for being God. I thank God for allowing me to still be here and do what God wants me to do and be here for God's purpose only. I thank God for allowing me to still be here, to be a mother to my children. I thank God for that. Speaking of my children, today's subject, looking at my notes, because y'all know I always got a bunch of notes. Looking at my notes today, fighting for my children. Fighting for my children, things coming against our children, speaking over our children, protecting them from spirits, just, little notes I put after the subject, fighting for my children. And as I was talking to God, about some things, because, my daughter was sharing some things with me. You guys know how it is with kids going to school. You guys know how kids can be, and, I was just talking to her about some things, and I went to God, praying, to God later that night. And I said, God, protect my children. Of course, I always pray for God's protection over myself, over my family, for everyone. I pray for everyone. I pray for the world. I mean, the world is in my prayer, because the world needs prayer. We all need prayer. And I was talking to God, and I was saying to God, God, you heard, things that kids go through in school aren't like the things that I went through in school. Things have changed so much, and we all know that. But, anytime I talk to my children, I talk to them, spiritually, about, praying, talking to God about it, and I speak to them from my experiences, a lot of things that we go through, could really help our children out if we talk to them, and things that we've been through could really help our children, and let them know that we have been through things, and it's nothing new, we've been through things just like they've been through things, and they're going through things. And we have to fight for our children. We have to fight for our children. We have to protect our children against this world, this evil world. We have to protect our children. When we are Christians, when we are saved, living for Christ, and we're living for Christ, and we're here for God's purpose only, and we have children, we have to fight for our children. And I said, God, I'm coming to you for my child, for my children, to protect them, because I've got one in college now, and I have, my oldest, she's an adult. She's an adult. But I still pray, protect her, talk to her, encourage her spiritually, still there for her. And then I have my middle daughter who just started college. So, she's branching off in that whole college realm now. She ain't in high school no more. She's in college, so I have to talk to her about things. I myself went through college, so I have to talk to her about, things that she's going to experience now. You're not in high school anymore, and I have to talk to her about what she's going to experience in the college world. And my oldest daughter went to college. So my oldest daughter is helping her, because we've experienced the college world. We know what it's like. We've been through it. And not only that, her shifting from high school to college, and as our children, and then I have my third daughter, my last daughter. She is transitioning from middle school and she's in high school now. So when our children shift from grade to grade, you know, it's like they're going through different levels. They're going through different things, you know, and, you know, God knows I pray to him and I ask him for spiritual guidance. You know, I want to lead my children spiritually. I want to be there for them spiritually and teach them how to get through things spiritually, you know. And, you know, that's what I was talking to God about. And I was just saying to God, I'm going to fight for my children. I said, God, I'm going to come to you praying for my children. I'm going to come to you asking you to protect them. God, I'm going to ask you to, you know, guide them. And, you know, and I teach my children how to pray and talk to God about things. And, you know, you've got a test and you're nervous about it. Pray and ask God to give you strength. Ask God to give you the knowledge, you know, to pass your test. And, you know, when you're dealing with children that, you know, that aren't, you know, I don't want to get into other people's children. I don't want to do that. But we have to keep our children protected and put spiritual seeds in them so that when they go to school, they're not getting caught up in other people, other things that are not Christ-like, or being persuaded to do things that's not Christ-like, and, you know, and goes against what it is that who we live for and what we represent and our purpose here on earth. You know, so yeah, you know, I was just telling God, I was like, God, I said, God, you know, I'm going to fight for my children. You know, I'm going to, and when I say fight, y'all know what I mean. I'm not talking I'm talking spiritually, fighting for our children. We have to fight for our children. This world is such a mess that we have to fight for our children. We have to be there for our children. We need to be where we need to be spiritually for our children so that we can cover them and teach them how to cover themselves while they're in school. Teach them how to pray and protect themselves while they're in school. Protect themselves from the enemy, because the enemy is all over the school. We all know that. And pray that God protects them while they're in school, because we know school isn't even a safe place anymore like it used to be. But I just pray and I say, God, I'm going to fight for my children. God, I'm going to fight for my children spiritually. I'm going to pray for them, God. I'm going to pray that you keep them covered. And I'm going to teach them how to pray and keep themselves covered while they're in school. Teach them to hear from you, God, and guide them while they're in school, while they're not with me, God. Help them make the right decisions when I'm not around, you know, or even if I am around. Help them make the right decisions, you know. But that's what I was talking to God about, fighting for my children. We've got to fight for our children. We can't let the enemy take our children and persuade our children and have them out in the world doing all kind of ungodly things. You know, we have to be there for them. We have to fight for our children. Let's get that fight back for our children that we once had. Let's get the fight back so that our children can be where they need to be. You know, no, they're not going to be perfect. No child is perfect. No adult is perfect. You know, but what happened to that fight we had for our children when we told the enemy, I will not let you persuade my child. I will not let you have my child. My child belongs to God. Let's get that fight back for our children. Let's claim our children. Let's take our children back from the enemy. It's just something I was talking to God about. You know, y'all know I'm going to come here and share, you know, what it is that I talk to God about, what God talks to me about. Fighting for my children. Where is the fight for our children? Where is that fight we had? When we cared about what they did, what they said, where they went, who they went with, and where they went, and all of that. What happened? Fighting for my children. I told God, I said, God, I will fight for my children. I said, God, I will do everything in my power. The enemy will not have mine. And we have to fight for our children. We have to become selfless and not selfish. Less of ourselves. Okay. It's just, you know, something I was talking to God about. We have to become selfless and not selfish. We have to start back making our children a priority. Okay. All right, guys. that's what God wanted me to come and talk about today. Fighting for our children, fighting for my children, fighting for them so that the enemy will not have control and run them ragged. So, all right, guys. This is Arika Misha. Thank you guys so much for watching. Guys, don't forget, click on that link in the description box, guys. It is to my second channel over there. I'm doing hair, makeup, nails. I did record this look. And I have my pink bow in honor of cancer awareness. Over there, I do hair, makeup, nails. I do DIYs. I do grocery hauls. I cook. I go family vlogs. When I tell you it's my life, and I'm just sharing it. Just sharing it that it may help someone, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. God bless. Bye.